All right. Welcome to the second episode of the Double D Digitally Daring podcast with SB and myself, LAL. And today we have, as a guest, we have a Fed Wars member, RB Cardone. He currently manages uh, the RB Cardone character, Dante, the Black Teletubby from Hell character, and Tome.
Epitome.
Oh, Epitome. Okay, there we go. The first word I butchered. Um, yeah. So RB, how did you? So let's just get the first question out of the way. How did you find Fed Wars?
There was a game that came after another game I was in previously that shut down sometime in March this year. And on it, they were all listing places that they might go since the game had shut down, and Fed Wars came up. So I just clicked on it and then kind of joined up pretty instantly from there.
So is this G-Fed that you're talking about?
No, it wasn't
Or
GFed. It was a NEW, I believe was what it was.
Okay,
Uh,
Next Evolution Wrestling, is that what it was?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I know there's a few other members like that who we were just talking about. SB, what's his name? His username?
oh what?
NCR man.
Oh, in Crawl Man,
Yeah,
whatever.
increment. And then Francis Murphy. He's from the site. He's from that site. And
Oh, I didn't know that.
Story D. He's from the site as
I
well,
think it's just storied.
or Storied,
Honestly.
whatever you want to call him. But yeah, those three. I know those three were from the Next Evolution Wrestling. So you're from there too, RB.
Uh, no, I just found the link from there.
Oh, you just found the link. Oh, okay, so you were.
I was a part of the game that came before that,
Oh,
which
okay.
was Shoot Club.
Oh,
Uh,
shoot. Oh, so because I know there was some sort of because I've checked the Shoot Club website before, and they were talking about the developer, whoever the guy in charge was talking about restarting Shoot Club, but I guess nothing ever came out of that.
yeah, I never saw anything past the announcement that it was going to happen, but that they shut down in sometime in 2011, and that's when I kind of decided I was going to be done with e-wrestling in general, e-fetting, and
Mhm.
then this other league signed up. I went to check and see how it was doing. I guess I was something of a bad luck charm because the second I went in, it was closing, and but then
So
I
you're
found.
like Mum Raw, ain't you?
I'm sorry.
So you're like Mum Raw, ain't you?
Uh,
It's a joke.
yeah,
Inside.
SB's getting to Summeroff's character in
Oh,
NGW.
In
okay.
Mum Raw, every Fed he's joined, it's died. So it's just a
Well,
little
good luck
joke.
NGW then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so you've been e-fetting obviously before you came to Fed Wars, and so how long you been e-fetting?
Since 2001. Uh,
2001. Okay,
yeah,
so
There you
um,
go.
so a while.
yeah, but you've never uh, did you ever hear of like G-Fed?
Oh, I've heard of GFed, but I was a part of it for a very short time because there was a league, Wrestling Midwest, had joined it at least temporarily, and I think I was a part of it for like a month or two while I was a part of GFed, but I was not really intrigued
In,
by.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's how Fed Wars got started. Is I was a part of G-Fed, and they were slowly declining, and so I decided to create Fed Wars off of I guess just wanting to have another place for people to go and a owner who actually kind of cares about the site.
yeah, good call.
yeah.
And so, uh, so are you currently, on any other e-feds not related to Fed Wars?
No, it's very rare. I kind of seek anything out of like a site where there's multiple federations like this, like a Fed Wars or like Shoe Club used to be, or I guess even GFed, only because those standalone eFeds work very, very rarely.
Because it's always hard to recruit and
Yeah,
people and
exactly.
Yeah, like
yeah,
in Fed Wars, you got people that are here to do that, so it's easier to recruit.
Exactly.
yeah. An eFed management system, you can set your Fed up and whatnot. Now, uh, the Feds, they're probably I probably need to, or I'm going to tweak like because I want to have the side menus just look terrible if you have
Hmm.
a Fed. The side menus are just bad.
Yeah, I
Top
picked
menus are.
you.
You go ahead. Go
Uh,
ahead.
but yeah, the side menus they're terrible. So I think I'm just going to be converting the side menus as themed, pre-themed things. So people uh, who don't want to design their own look and whatnot, they can
Right.
just go to the side menus, select a theme that matches them, and use that. And that way, uh, so you won't be controlling any of the uh, CSS or anything like that on the pages. So it'll be a
Right.
lot easier for a Fed owner. The only problem is that it'll look a little generic with if another Fed's using it or whatnot.
Right.
Um, but so you're currently in though, or you have your own Fed. I know you, but are you doing anything with your Fed on
It,
Fed Wars?
it's gonna happen soon where I plan on updating the kind of homepage because I haven't figured out what I want to do with it yet. Like design wise, I know what I want to do with the Fed. But I'm hoping to get that open within the next week or so I can actually put out some sort of like recruiting message. It was a Fed that my brother and I, the Ultimate Renewal, we had done it back in 2011. That was kind of our when Shoe Club closed. That was our thing that we went to, and it worked. It worked really well. Like it was a kind of different style than a lot of the others because it's not really a summary Fed and it's not really a match writing Fed. We kind of the way we approach results is we approach results as if you were to read the results on like ESPN or something. So that it's kind of like a news story type deal.
It's like a play-by-play or something.
Um,
They're
it's
more like a highlight type thing.
yeah, more like a recap.
Huh.
Yeah.
Um,
And or go ahead. Go ahead.
no, that's I was just gonna say more like a recap.
So did you say you needed some help with graphics?
Not graphics necessarily because I mean the whole concept of the league is that it's the reject
I mean,
wrestling.
you said to get it. You said to get it started. You didn't know what you want to do with the background. Is that what you
Well, I mean,
said?
I don't know what to do with the main page, like how I want to lay it out yet, like what I want to have there, what information I want on there. It might just be something like simple,
So
Okay.
because
so is
it's
it
not designed to look good. It's not designed to be like this place where, I mean, I love writing. Anybody who's in GCW can like see like I
Yeah, I
there's
was there for a short while. I
yeah. I
seen,
mean, go ahead.
I was there for a short while. I seen your work.
Yeah, I mean, I love writing, but the concept of RWF is just to be goofy and just have like kind of retarded fun. So,
Well, if you
it,
want any help, just PM me. I may be able to help you up there sometime.
all right, yeah,
and yeah, you can tell that it's not as a serious Fed if you just look at Dante, okay?
yeah.
But
Uh, Dante's one of the oldest characters I write for. Dante was one of my first that I ever created. Um, it was just a joke, but people really took to it. And I had him in the Island of Misfit Wrestlers, but that had disappeared for a while. And I noticed it's come back since. But
yeah, Polly just recently came back apparently. Um, but yeah, your main Fed is GCW then,
yes,
but you're also in PWA with RB,
yes.
and so with and you don't hold any. So which one? First off, which one you been in longer?
Gate City Wrestling was the first Fed I joined in Fed Wars. Them and UCW offered me contracts kind of when I started, so I was a part of both for a while.
All right, and then you just and then PWA came a little bit later after GCW.
Yeah, PWA was the fourth Fed that had offered me something, and at the time I was unemployed, so I was able to run with four. But then once I became employed, I wanted to cut down to two, so I kept GCW and PWA because they were the best fit for the way I write,
Mm.
like just my style. I like to tell stories a little bit longer. UCW was, I mean, it was fun, but in 1,000 words, I can't really get across the point that I want to get across
Yeah.
all the time necessarily.
Yeah.
And are you currently, what's your position in both Feds? Are you currently a champion? Are you gunning for a championship?
Um, it's RB Cardone's been gunning for his first title in both of them. He was in the PWA heavyweight championship scene as well as GCW. Now it's the GCW World Heavyweight. PWA, I think that it's just gone on hiatus or something. Because they have a post on their main page that it's been seized by like the IRS due to tax evasion. Um, but I think like out of character wise, Juice is having some timing issues right now, so it might be taking a short break.
Okay,
At least
I
that's my
didn't.
understanding of it.
Okay, I did not know that. So uh, that is news to me, and I'm sure that it's probably news to other people who haven't.
That's
Checked out PWA.
I'm pretty sure that's a
It's news to
today.
me.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure that's a today development. I think that's just something that's like really starting. So I don't know what the full story is behind that yet.
And and so in GCW,
Yeah,
you just recently took out at Octane 9. You just recently beat uh, James Malone.
yeah,
And so James Malone, he was apparently just a security guard
the head of
for,
security. Yeah.
yeah, head of security for GCW. And so how did the match between you two uh, come along?
Um, Basically, from the story was Malone had like I think it was a knee surgery he had sometime in March. And he was given a clean bill of health. So this was going to be his first, big match. Like he hadn't wrestled in GCW beforehand, uh, and he was just essentially thrown to the wolves. Is how they kind of set it up. So it wasn't really something like where we had a long storyline or anything going between the two of us. I was just kind of the guy who was going to tear him to shreds on his first, kind of return bout. Um,
And you're a heel, right? You play as a heel.
yeah, the crowds in Atlanta would not enjoy me at all.
Yeah, that's what they have read here or wrote here, the
Me,
GCW guys. And
well, I was in GCW and I read the events, and yeah, it's written that the crowd very much hates RB Cardone.
Yeah, it was kind of an interesting thing because when my brother and I started, we joined this UCW and GCW at the same time. So like we didn't really know what we were going to do. We just both joined, and then it just so happened that both feds happened to book the two of us against each other.
I
Uh,
remember hearing about that. Yeah, reading
but
in the forums.
it was completely random. Like no, like they didn't plan it. We didn't have anything we were planning. So we just talked and said, let's run it as if let's start a feud. So in the north, uh, because Renewal's a Southern, he's a Confederate reenactor. In the north, RB Cardone is actually a face, and Renewal was a heel, and then it swaps when you go down south. So it's an interesting kind of.
That's very
and
funny.
It's almost like Bret Hart in like '97 when he was cheered in Canada and booed in the U.S. So it was it goes something like that. Is how that works.
and
So how? Wait, just had a question. How close was your match with James Malone? Because I remember he was at NGW. He won our Mr. NGW from Vince Strife, and that's no easy feat. And How close was y'all's match there?
Um,
Well, I'm gonna say that RB Cardone had it pretty much well in hand.
yeah, I mean that.
Yeah, I know James Malone's the owner, but
Yeah, I was gonna say I kind of expected that just because Malone, like you said, Malone's the owner.
did he put up a good RP against you? Like, was it?
I liked it. I like his work. He does. I think he's the one who does Mysterion in that one too.
Yeah, I think he is too.
Yeah, and I love them. I mean, GCW as a whole, I don't think there's a single player who's been active in there uh, that I don't really enjoy reading. It's one of the few feds where I actually find myself reading everything. I don't always respond or grade them, but like everybody just has a really intriguing character, really intriguing storyline going on. So I do read just about everything on that, which is odd.
And
Yeah,
with
they're very much like NGW in that way. I find myself same position in NGW like that.
except
Yeah.
you're about to get fired, right?
Yeah, I'm about to get fired. I'm in a you're fired match.
And have you role played for that yet?
I'm not role play. The event hasn't been booked yet, but
Oh, okay.
I am going to role play for it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit more storyline because I wrote the segment that ended up me getting into the you're fired match.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably a bit more storyline at this point, but I'm not going to miss this RP.
Okay, but if you do, you're gonna get fired. And
I'm not going to miss it.
um, but so in GCW, are you currently in any with RB? Are you currently? Does he currently, or is he currently in any title pictures? Because I know that your brother, um, right,
Renewal. Yeah.
Ultimate Renewal.
Yeah.
He's in the now are you guys brothers in character too? Or no?
It's a Cardone and Renewal are not.
Okay, okay.
Absolutely not.
But in real life you two are, right?
Yes, and then he has. If you look at his profile, he also handles Justin Lowley, uh, and I have Epitome, and the two are brothers-in-law in character,
All right. And
and that
and
hasn't been touched in Fed Wars yet.
so so the Ultimate Renewal, he's in the GCW World title picture.
Yes.
And what about you? Are you in any title pictures?
Right now, Cardone's he just had his title match against Frank Sampson and Chris Parsons. He lost the match. Sampson won. Sampson's uh, handled by E2GFX, and I mean his stuff is just absolutely brilliant. I know Malone had posted on the forums a while ago that he thought he was the best RPer on the site, and I absolutely agree. With all due respect to a lot of other guys like Rob Riot and stuff, Sampson's just you read his stuff and it's really incredible. Like even if you're not in GCW, I would absolutely recommend going in there and just because his storyline is brilliant. So anyway, Cardone lost. He kind of fell out of the ranking system right now. But they have a new GCW has a new tournament coming up, um, Night of Pride, where the Pride Championship is kind of going to be decided. It's a lot like WWE's King of the Ring, so it's not quite a title so much, but it's kind of it can be used as like a number one contendership, so you can kind of jump ahead in the rankings. So Cardone is absolutely going to be gunning for that. And at the same time, he has, his two biggest feuds are with Sampson and Renewal. So naturally, whoever wins that is somebody that Cardone is going to be going after anyway.
And
So,
GCW.
I have a question. Quick. I know that title match at your little Supremacy. Were you considered a champion? Because I know you all had a belt, but because I mean the whole Kentaro and Sampson tied, and like both had a belt.
Yeah.
Were you considered? Is it considered that you were a former champion in GCW?
RB Cardone would consider himself a former champion, but GCW would not.
Okay.
And with so GCW, they have in order to get a title shot, because I'm looking at the ranking page right now, you have to be so you have to be right underneath the champion, correct? Is that how that works?
You have to be in the top rank spot, yeah. But I mean, Renewal won a number one contendership match, so I think there's a some play to that in a little bit. Like there's ways you can jump ahead of the guy who is number one. But yeah, you have to be up there, which is in a lot of ways it's good because it gives you a chance to shoot for something, and it gives the people who are active, they're automatically going to be near the top,
Hmm.
uh, especially
Yeah.
guys who are winning like the mid-level titles and stuff, because how the ranking system works is you get points based on like title defenses and title wins. So those guys who are winning those little titles, or the I shouldn't say little titles, but the lesser ones, they're
The mid card titles,
the mid
the
card titles. Thank you.
the
That's a good.
pure and the bad street title.
Yeah, the pure and the bad street. I mean those guys jumped up real high now. Rob Riot with the bad street, and then I think it's was it Alexander that has the
I
Chris?
think it was Henry Alexander. I
Yeah,
had I could have had it, but that pure title when I was there.
right.
Oh, don't
Yeah,
kid yourself,
it's
SB.
Alexander.
Would you
That's RB for you, and
wait?
there's
So you missed which Fed did you start with?
GCW.
I'm talking like when you started E-Fed
Oh,
period.
when I started period, I joined Shoe Club in 2001, so I was a part of that for 11 years almost.
and they were just one Fed, or did they have multiple Feds in Shoe Club?
They had multiple leagues. I think the first I joined in there was Golden State Wrestling, GSW. But there were like, I think at one point there was as many as 21 uh, feds that were all very active.
And
Now I have a question. Who was the owner of that GSW? Because there was a GSW on
Uh,
G-Fed. Oh, not Fed was that
it
that
worked.
naturally turned into something else. You
Yeah,
go ahead.
in Shoe Club it worked completely different. There were three owners in the game, and they set up all the leagues when the website was growing and there were more wrestlers. Like when the other leagues became too filled, they would open another one,
Oh,
and that kind
I
of the
got you. Okay.
game would kind of decide who would be who would run the Fed for a while. So the Feds passed from person to person to person to person over time. So
Uh,
which
go
was
ahead.
cool because it kind of built a history uh, to some of the the long running ones. Like ESW was the first one that had opened, and it was open the entire 12 years. So kind of being a part of that was like being a part of something that had like this huge history to it.
and Shoot Club, you had to like pay. From my understanding, I never joined or anything like that, but
Yeah.
from what I read, you had to pay to play. Was that right, or how did that work?
Uh, yes and no. If you were a promoter, which means you were one of the like match writers or one of the people who ran a league, you got like so many free wrestlers a month. So you didn't ever have to pay if you were willing to put your efforts into other parts of the game too, which was good because it helped the league stay active from an event standpoint. But if you didn't want to do that, then yeah, you had to pay. Or if you wanted to run like a ton of characters, because there were some guys who had like 10, 15 characters active at the time, then they would have been paying.
Mm. And so Shoot Club, they're no longer, um, from what I've read, they're no longer up. And well, they were planning on coming back, but I guess the uh, owner, webmaster, ran out of time or something like that. But I guess, but they still have a site up, an updated site
Yeah.
that says that they are returning soon, but that message has been up there for a year or two.
Yes.
Um,
Quite some time.
but yeah, so that's RB, and he's currently in GCW and PWA. Still thinking on what to do with Reject Wrestling Federation with the Dante, the Black Teletubby from Hell. Um, and so we'll move along from uh, RB talk, and I know that you probably don't want to move away from that RB, but PWA, since RB just told us that apparently PWA is taking a hiatus, and they're only roughly 40,000 or so XP ahead of NGW. And NGW, they're only about 6,000 XP away from becoming the second Fed ever to reach the 500,000 mark. And so in NGW now, they're going back to the one event a week. They used to
A regular schedule.
Yeah, the one event a week. They used to just, before Claw came with them, they used to just run one event every 2 weeks. So now
we did bi-weekly.
Yeah, bi-weekly. But yeah, and NGW, they're closing on 500,000 XP. And if Pinnacle, if they don't, I don't know, it'd have to be a few weeks, but NGW could be closing in on taking over that number 1 spot for the first time, I believe. Right, SB?
Yeah, it would be the first time. We were at second place for a little while, but it would be the first time we were number 1.
So what about this football eFed that you got going on, SB?
So this is something that
I mean,
Moonchild.
yeah,
Moonchild
Moonchild has
wanted.
a long post in the free agents thread that is just it goes pretty in depth, and I haven't read it all yet, but yeah, it looks like you guys are full on serious about doing this thing.
Yeah, I mean I love football, so that's why I took up on the chance to help to join up with him like this, and we both done the other type fed. Like he had the WCW / ROW fed that was a completely different world, Moonverse, where it's completely different dimension, not dimension, but like parallel universe type thing, where John McCain won the election first, and my short thing with me, RDJ, and Ping did the Z Wars is the zombie fed that we did for a short while. And I think we can make it work. It's you just role playing as pretty much as a whole football team, as like the general manager or star player on your team. Just you don't have to do the same character every week. Just sort of focus on a team as a whole, and it should hopefully it works out.
So we'll see if that come next week. We'll see how much more progress you got on it. And so, all right. So moving along to a little more be the Booker talk, and I just updated. What's that?
Can I just make one quick plug?
Yeah, go ahead.
Kintaro, or I think his handle is Makisho, runs a league, and he asked me to just make a quick plug for Genesis. So I told him I would.
All right. So yeah, go over to Genesis. They just recently, a month or two ago, they just recently moved over to Fed Wars because they were an off-site eFed, and yeah, they seem. I know that they, because they were on GFed, they moved off, and there was some hesitation on joining Fed Wars, but I guess they finally joined up. So
Yeah,
hopefully it works out good for them. Seems to.
there's some good handlers in there, so I have kind of high hopes for it.
Well, ain't Genesis and GCW kind of from the same GWF fed?
I think there was from back in GFed. I think a lot of them were in the same Fed together. I could be wrong, but
I know a lot of the guys from Genesis are in GCW.
Yeah, I recognize the names, but I wasn't in GCW before Fed Wars, so I can't really speak to them.
But yeah, so join up Genesis, upcoming Fed, promising looking Fed, and so yeah, SB, you want to throw out a plug? No, I'm kidding.
I think I threw enough plugs out there.
Yeah, so did I. I feel good.
You're just a walking billboard for NGW.
Well, I'll throw a plug out there. I'll throw a plug for Naturals Fed, the WWA, West Coast Wrestling Association, whatever it is.
West Coast Wrestling Association, but the initials are WWA.
Yeah. Natural ain't all there. He doesn't really think everything out, but
I
he's
know.
a good guy.
I spent nearly, I don't know. RDJ must have spent an hour or so trying to figure out his layout there, and I came in there, fixed
He's
it
a
in
pretty
about.
funny guy. And he's a good rider when he's not at war, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Um. So yeah. Now, now that everything Fed Wars related is out of our systems, um, I updated a new post on the main page of Digitally Daring, and it's called the new feature that's going to be in, or the feature that's going to be in Be the Booker is, I'm calling it the cash in contract, similar to WWE's Money in the Bank. Now, if you didn't already know, pro wrestling is actually, it's going to be considered real in Be the Booker, so the matches are actually, they're not predetermined by a Fed owner or whatnot, and they're done, it's determined through your through a engine, through a simulator that I'm getting closer to finishing. But yeah, you get the you win the cash in contract, and then you can go and you can select when you want to cash in on your opponent, on a champion that you want to try to steal the title from or whatnot. Set up a match. You can set up a match. You're going to be able to set up a match beforehand. So kind of like how RVD did with John Cena back in 2006.
Or how John Cena did last at
Or
the
yeah,
1000 episode.
yeah, how John Cena did that. And or you can do it like how Dolph Ziggler did it against Alberto Del Rio the night after WrestleMania. So yeah, however you want to do it, you'll be able to do it if you have the contract.
So I have a quick question. How does that work out? If
So
cashing in cashing in right after a match, how
yeah,
does that work out?
that's going to, so if you have the contract and you want to cash it, if you don't want to set up a match beforehand, you want to actually do a match after somebody's, it doesn't have to be after a title match, but after a
After they're hurt or something?
yeah, after they already had a match, so their energy inside of the simulator, inside of the engine, is already going to be down, and you're going to be coming in with a full bill of energy, because energy is part of the thing that makes you, that's in the simulator, so you got to keep track of that. And the more your energy goes down, the more you're going to be able to get pinned uh, or tap out or anything like that. So it's essentially just you losing, like in a wrestling match, it's just you losing your, well, I guess energy, yeah. And uh, so how it works is you're going to be able to, there's going to be on an edit on your wrestler's page somewhere, on one of the wrestlers page, on your wrestler page, if you have the cash in contract, you're going to be able to select when to cash it in on an upcoming event, obviously. And when you want to cash it in, you can either cash it in beforehand, meaning the match is going to be created and your opponent already knows that you're going to be facing him, or you can do it against, or you can select to cash it in after a match is done, after that wrestler has.
Surprise cashing in.
What's that?
Surprise cashing
Yeah.
in.
Yep. They can cash it in. They won't know that you're cashing in, and so it's going to create that effect like in WWE when somebody comes out, except, and so you're going to have the advantage every single time for the most part, depending on how much energy the opponent beforehand took away from that dude or
Unless your
from
guy
the wrestler.
sucks.
Yeah, so the champion is going to be in a bad situation, but it's going to add in a cool element so you don't know what's going to happen and whatnot. So it's just going to be, so if you have that, you're going to be pretty much in control, and it should be fun to watch it and see how different users use it. And
So
what's that?
I was going to ask RB if he had any questions about this.
I mean, I followed the concept well enough. It sounds very intriguing, so I'm kind of excited about it.
But and Be the Booker, it's like Fed Wars. However, it's nothing like role playing. You don't have to write out anything like that. You know that and all that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yep. And so yeah, we'll have another update on the next podcast probably. And so yeah, we're getting close to our time limit that I don't want to go over. So so how much do you watch WWE, TNA, wrestling, RB?
I watched WWE.
Okay. And so did you caught this past week's Raw then?
Yeah, I caught Raw and Payback.
Payback. Okay. And so one of the things that came out of Payback is one of the things that I found cool because I'm a fan of his is Rob Van Dam. He's returning to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Absolutely.
And so where do you think how do you think he's going to be used?
I'd be shocked if he's not in one of the Money in the Bank matches.
Yeah, I'm with you on there. I mean, I think he should be used. He should be put in a main event slot,
Right.
or as a main event player,
Right.
and pushed accordingly like that.
See,
My instinct is that he's gonna be something to like a Chris Jericho role where he's kind of pushing some of the younger guys, but in a different style than Jericho can work.
Yeah,
I think that he's going to do a promo with CM Punk, like a feud type thing with CM Punk. Since CM Punk recently just dropped Paul Heyman, and RVD's a Paul Heyman guy. I think they may do a little.
well,
I think down the road, but that Lesnar thing set
yeah.
up. That's going.
Oh
for
yeah, Ash, I forgot about the Lesnar coming out at 5 and CM Punk.
And according to all the online wrestling websites, the matches between Punk and Lesnar that was supposed to set up for a SummerSlam match. So
Right.
I guess they could have a little RVD CM Punk, but I doubt that they will.
It might be Curtis Axel. No, because Curtis Axel has that IC title.
Well, I mean, he's coming back. I think they should throw him into a Money in the Bank match. Would probably be the best suited for him, unless they have enough.
That's his style too. He's a high flyer type.
Yeah, I'd like to see him in a championship, in like a world title or WWE championship match, though. But I doubt that'll happen.
Well, he's going to be. They've already said he's going to be part time. He ain't going to be just a full time.
Well, he's not going to be. Well, from what I read, is that no one seems to. The different sites that I've read, they're all over the place on if he's going to be full time or part time. But I think he's going to be working more than The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar.
I mean, The Undertaker works like once or twice a year. So
yeah, good point. But he's going to be working more than Brock Lesnar, I'd guess.
Maybe
so
a little
I
more.
would see him. So he doesn't have to work live events. So if he just worked like Raws and pay-per-views, I guess you could still call that part-time, but
yeah, because all the other ones are working the house events, SmackDown, main event. So yeah, that would be part-time, I guess.
But and Dolph Ziggler, apparently he turned heel or face. So we had a few face and heel turns just in the past 2 days.
The double turn in that one match, and
yeah, we had Alberto Del Rio. He turned heel, back to heel.
Better for him.
Yeah, I never really. Well, I don't really care.
He was stale. He was stale as a face. I mean, he works a better heel because he's like the the aristocrat. He's rich, and it's just a good decision right there.
He works better as a heel. I agree, though. I mean, he's grown old really quick as a character, not as a human necessarily.
Well, he's much older than what you think. I mean, I didn't think he was.
I think he's like 40 something, isn't he?
Well, I think he's high. I believe he's in his mid to high 30s, somewhere around there. I thought he was in like his late 20s when he first entered the WWE.
Well, he was in MMA for a little while because he was in Pride.
Yeah.
Well, I know he was in I don't know which Mexican promotion he was in, but
I think it was Triple L.
yeah, something like that. Triple L
Triple
or
A.
Triple A, whatever it was. Yeah, one of those. But and he comes from, and he has a, I don't know, maybe that's not the one, but yeah, so he comes from somewhere, or how long has he been in WWE?
For like a year or two. Yeah, I think it's 2 years.
2 years? No, it's
I thought.
20 what?
I thought it was the end of 2010 he came.
2010.
He won the 2011 Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
And
I
he
know
won
it's
it
been
2012, 2011.
I think he first debuted in 2000.
The year he won the Royal Rumble was the year he debuted.
No, he was definitely the year before.
Yeah, definitely
not for long, but that's why I said I think it was 2010.
Because he was pretty much put in a main event role right when he came in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was injured and everybody was arm breaker or arm bar.
So yeah, his first appearance was 2010. The summer of 2010.
Right.
And so Dolph Ziggler, he turned face. CM Punk turned back to face. Brock Lesnar came out and he F5'd CM Punk. So that sets up a match between those two, which should be a lot better than the Brock Lesnar and Triple H matches.
Yeah, it can't get much worse.
Yeah, true. CM Punk.
It can't get worse with CM Punk's in the mix. He's gonna put a good match.
Yeah, he usually does. He put on a good match with Chris Jericho. Put on a good match with The Undertaker. So.
Yeah.
He could put on a good match with John Cena. I mean, he could put on a good match with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. And Mark Henry, the Mark Henry segment that kind of stole the show. I thought.
Yeah.
That was.
Which I knew he wasn't going to retire because there was that last week he was pissed off because someone said he was going to retire.
But the acting of the year, wow! I mean, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the tears coming out.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if I didn't actually read the online dirt sheets and whatnot, I would have actually thought he was actually retiring.
Same with me. I mean.
Yeah, I actually did think he was retiring because I didn't read them that day.
Yeah, I can see. I bet you a lot of people inside of the arena and whatnot, they seemed actually shocked that he turned and just slammed John Cena, picked him up and slammed John Cena.
I will say this: he is a better fake crier than Caitlyn and Stephanie combined.
Yeah, I'm not too big into the Divas women's wrestling.
I don't know. The Caitlyn segment was pretty good last Monday.
Just this past Monday.
The Caitlyn AJ
Stephanie,
segment. The Caitlyn. Well, yeah, Stephanie was out there, bro.
Oh, you mean the one where Big E came out?
No, it was a joke because the Caitlyn nipple slip.
Oh, okay. Now, did they actually show that on TV?
They blacked you.
Yeah,
you could have caught it, but they blacked it out pretty fast.
Oh, dang it!
I caught it, but
I think I tuned out. I usually tune out whenever something boring comes on Raw, which is usually the majority of the show. But yeah, this past week's Raw wasn't too bad. Better than most that have recently.
I
Yeah,
heard
I would say
Payback was. Oh, go ahead, RB.
I was gonna say Raw and Payback for WWE shows lately have been pretty good. I mean, I would have rated them a 4 of 10, but that's that's a success as far as I'm concerned lately.
See, I was thinking I thought it would be unrealistic, but I think it'd be pretty cool if John Cena did beforehand FU Ryback through the ambulance, and then it turned out he did. I was thinking, that's cool. I was thinking that. I didn't think it was going to happen because it was unrealistic, but
Yeah, it was tearing the side panels off of a vehicle isn't that easy as Ryback.
especially
So
at ambulance.
and then getting
And
and then getting FU'd through the ambulance. Another you have to suspend your disbelief for a little bit on
yeah,
that because no way that's happening.
them things are built like tanks, pretty much.
Well, with any vehicle, if you get just how Ryback was, how he was slammed onto there, that'd just make a big dent with any vehicle.
Yeah.
Um, you wouldn't
So,
you
were you
wouldn't be
going to say
breaking
something,
through.
RB?
No, I said it.
Oh, okay.
Next week on the podcast, I don't know who the guest is going to be.
Well, on the waiting list, the next one up is Retro Raw, but it may not be him. It may be Tucker Blaine.
Or it could be DDP.
Yo, it's me. It's me. It's DDP. Self high five.
Yeah, it could be DDP. Well, actually, I'm going for Stone Cold now.
Okay, I think we have a better chance of getting DDP than Stone Cold Steve Austin. But I guess go and send him, go and talk to him, SB. You go and
I'm
ask him to
diligent.
come on or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it's me. It's DDP. Maybe you'll hear his music on the show next week. But I wouldn't count on it. And yeah, until then, do something that you do. Okay.